Hi, welcome to another episode of Carmine Sings. My name is Carmine Iantorno. Some call me Carmine Pace, some call me Buddy, some call me Dummy. It doesn't matter what you want to call me. This is another episode of Carmine Sings. As you saw in the opening credits, we're paying tribute tonight to possibly one of my most favorite entertainers of all time, and I believe one of the greatest entertainers in the 20th century, Bobby Darin. And to start off the show, I'm going to take a little departure from the normal format, and I'm going to throw in a song in the beginning. This song is to me is Bobby's kind of his theme, and it explains kind of his outlook on life. So enjoy this song before we get into the rest of the show. As long as I'm singing, and the bell up in my brain that's ringing, making a crazy ding-dong. And if this band don't desert me, well, there's nothing in the world can hurt me. Long as I'm singing my song, give me trumpets, legato, put some saxes with them, strings, pizzicato, and some rhythm. As long as I'm singing, and the world's alright and everything's swinging. Long as I'm singing my song. Oh, making music is more to me than a pleasure, 'cause me and music, we go together like notes in a measure. Long as I'm singing, and the world's alright and everything's swinging. Long as I'm singing mine, long as I'm singing mine, long as I'm singing my soul. All right. Yeah, that's a great philosophy of life. I'm just going to do a little Louis Armstrong thing. My audio and video, man, my brother Al was a little cold, so we put the heat on. And like what happens a lot of sometimes with married couples, we're not married, definitely not. One's hot and one's cold. I was hot and he was cold, but now I'm hotter. So that's okay, though. He's volunteering for me, and his pay isn't much. It's actually nothing. So we're going to get right into the bio material here, and then we're going to do a bunch of Bobby's hits. As I always mention at the top of the show, these are not imitations of Bobby. These are basically my interpretation of these great songs. And I also want to mention, as I always do, that the material for the bio information that I'm about to present here was taken off of Wikipedia. So there may be some errors and things left out and so forth. If you feel that you're absolutely 100,000% sure that there's a mistake, you can edit Wikipedia. But as I always warn, please be absolutely sure before you change anything, because we want, it's nice if the information is accurate. And away we go. Bobby Darin was born Walden Robert Casoto in the Bronx borough of New York City on May 14th, 1936. And he was reared, and that's what their word, not mine. I would have said raised. Reared sounds scary. He was reared by his maternal grandparents. His grandfather, this is tough, and I'm Italian. I should be able to pronounce these. Severio Antonio Big Sam Curly Casoto. Big Sam Curly, I'm guessing, was a nickname because it's in parentheses. And his maternal grandmother was Vivian Fern Walden, but she preferred to be called Polly. Now, where she got Polly from Vivian and Fern, I have no idea, and I don't care. She was actually of colonial English and Danish ancestry and was a vaudeville singer, which I found very interesting. So obviously, I'm sure she was always singing around the house, and Bobby, since he was raised by his maternal grandmother, Polly, he heard, sorry, I popped my pee. He probably heard her singing, and that inspired him to become musical. I want to skip ahead a little bit here in the info because I think this is pertinent to later in the show. Darin suffered from poor health his entire life. He was frail as an infant and beginning at the age of 8 was stricken with recurring bouts of rheumatic fever that left him with a seriously weakened heart. And that, as you'll see in the further information, is important to the story. By the time he was a teenager, he could play several instruments, including piano, drums, and guitar. He later added harmonica and xylophone. Darin graduated from the prestigious Bronx High School of Science, and he matriculated at Hunter College, but soon dropped out in order to play nightclubs around the city with his musical combo. Oh boy, does that sound familiar. It worked out for Bobby, didn't work out so good for me. I actually did something similar and dropped out of college to become a rock musician, and as you can see, here I am. Darin's career finally took off with a songwriting partnership formed in 1955 with fellow Bronx High School of Science student Don Kirshner. Now, if you guys don't know Don Kirshner's name, he was one of the biggest producers. He eventually went on to become one of the biggest music producers in music history. And in 1956, his agent negotiated a contract deal with Decca Records. The songs recorded at Decca, unfortunately, had very little success. Darin continued on with the beginning of his career as a member of the Brill Building gang of struggling songwriters. Darin wrote several songs for singer Connie Francis, who went on to become a fairly big star, and some of those songs became big hits. Darin left Decca to sign with Atlantic Records' Atco subsidiary, where he wrote and arranged music for himself and others. Songs he recorded, such as Harry Warren's I Found $1 Million Baby, were sung in an Elvis style, which did not suit his personality. Guided by Atlantic's star maker, Ahmet Ertegun, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'm going to spell his last name, Ertegun, Ertegun. Darin's career finally took off in 1958 when he recorded Splish Splash. He co-wrote this song with radio DJ Murray Kaufman, who later became known as Murray the K, very famous DJ. And they co-wrote it after a phone call from his grandmother, who was a frustrated songwriter. Her latest song idea was Splish Splash, Take a Bath. And both Kaufman and Darin felt the title was a little lackluster, but Darin was grasping at straws at that point, and he said, I could write a song with that title. Within 1 hour, Darin had written Splish Splash. The single sold more than 1 million copies. So with that build up, I'm going to go ahead and sing that for you. And this was Bobby's first breakthrough hit, Splish Splash. Splish Splash, I was taking a bath on about a Saturday night. Rub-a-dub, just relaxing in the tub, thinking everything was alright. Well, I stepped out the tub and put my feet on the floor, wrapped the towel around me and I opened the door. And then a splish splash, I jumped back in the bath. How was I to know there was a party going on? It was a swishing and a splashing, feeling with the feeling, moving and a grooving, rocking and a rolling. Hey, yeah! Bing bang, I saw the whole gang dancing on my living room rug. Ow! Flip flop, they was doing the bop. All the teens had the dancing bug. There was a lollipopper with a Peggy Sue. Good golly, Miss Molly was even there too. Well, a splish splash, forgot about the bath. I went and put my dancing shoes on. Well, there was a rocking and a rolling, feeling with the feeling, moving and a grooving, splishing and a splashing. Hey, yeah! Oh, there was a splishing and a splashing. There was a rolling and a strolling. Yeah, there was a reeling with the feeling. And there was a moving and a grooving. They were rolling and a strolling, reeling with the feeling. Splish, splash, yeah, splishing and a splashing. One time there was a splishing and a splashing. Woo-wee, yeah, oh yeah. Wow, that's a great song, isn't it? As you can see, I'm chair dancing here. That's about all the dancing I'm capable of. But you guys at home, I can't see you. You can see me, but I can't see you. If these songs make you want to get up and dance, just do it. Just get up off that couch and start dancing, because these are some great rock and roll songs. In 1959, Darin recorded the self-penned Dream Lover, a ballad that became a multi-million seller. With it came financial success and the ability to demand more creative control over his career, which is a good thing, and it usually happens to a lot of musicians. Once they start making it big, they can finally start dictating a little more what they want to do. So that's why he meant for his next album, or actually the album That's All, to show that he could sing more than rock and roll. But before we get into that part of the story, I'm going to jump back into the song I just mentioned. And this song is called Dream Lover. And as I mentioned, Bobby Darin wrote this himself, and it was a huge hit right after Splish Splash. Maybe not right after, but after. Dream lover, where are you? With a love that's oh so true, and a hand that I can hold. Feel you near as I grow old, because I want a girl to call my own. I want a dream lover, so I don't have to dream alone. Dream lover, where are you? Screw that up, huh? With the love oh so true, and a hand that I can hold. I'm having deja vu. Feel you near as I grow old, because I want a girl to call my own. I want a dream lover, so I don't have to dream alone. Someday, I don't know how, I hope you'll hear my plea. Someday, I don't know how, she'll bring her love to me. Yeah, dream lover, until then, I go to sleep and dream again. That's the only thing to do, till all my lover's dreams come true, because I want a girl to call my own. I want a dream lover, so I don't have to dream alone. Please don't make me dream alone. I beg you, darling, don't want to dream alone. No, no, don't want to dream alone. No, 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 oh no, please don't make me dream alone. All right, as you can see, I screwed up that song, but this is live on DVD, as we call it, so we're not going to edit that. That's stuff happens when you're doing a show. I forgot the first verse and sang the second verse first, and then I was going to sing the first verse second, but I couldn't even remember it at that point. So, oh well. We're going to continue now with the story. Where we left off, Bobby had gained more creative control over his career. So his next album featured the single "Mac the Knife," and as we know, that song went to #1 on the charts for 9 weeks and sold 2 million copies and won a Grammy Award for Record of the Year in 1960. Darin also won Grammy Award as Best New Artist of that year, and Mac the Knife has since been honored with a Grammy Hall of Fame award. So, without further ado, I'm going to sing Mac the Knife for you. Oh, the shark, babe, has such teeth, dear, and it shows them pearly white. Just a jackknife has old Mac Heath, babe, and it keeps it out of sight. You know when that shark bites with its teeth, babe, scarlet billows start to spread. But fancy gloves, though, wears old Mac Heath, babe, so there's never a trace of red. Well, on the sidewalk, hot Sunday morning, lies a body just losing life. Eek! And someone sneaking round the corner. Can that someone be Mac tonight? Well, there's a tugboat pie down by the river, don't you know? Oh, the cement bag just drooping on down. Yes, that cement, it's just strictly for the weight, dear. 5 will get you 10. Old Mac Heath's back in town. Now you hear about Louis Miller? He disappeared, babe, after drawing out all his hard-earned cash. And now Mac Heath spends just like a sailor. Could it be our boy's done something rash? Oh, Jimmy Diver, Suki Tawdry, Miss Lonnie Lenya, and old Lucy Brown. Yes, that line goes on the right. Hey, now that Mackie, he's back in town. I said, Jenny Diver, whoa, Suki Tawdry, look out for Miss Lonnie Lenya and old Lucy Brown. You know that that line goes on the right, babe. Now that Mackie's back in town. Look out, old Mackie is back. And of course, I don't have to tell you folks at home, even if you never heard of Bobby Darin, you've heard that song. My goodness, that was a big one. Now, Darin followed up Mac the Knife with a song called Beyond the Sea. Basically, Beyond the Sea was a jazzy English version of a Charles Trennett's French hit song, La Mer. La Mer, I believe, means the sea in French. I don't speak French. And if I do, then Gomez Adams will come and start kissing me. So I got to be careful. Both tracks were produced by Atlantic founders Ahmet, and now I'm going to screw up this guy's first name, Nesuhi, Nesuhi, and here goes that Ertegun again. I'm going to repeat that whole sentence. Both tracks were produced by Atlantic founders Ahmet and Nesuhi Ertegun, with staff producer Jerry Wexler, and that's, again, another famous name, another famous producer. And they featured arrangements, Rented Lips, sorry, by Richard West. So, having said that, I'd like to do the next song, and I want to mention briefly that this song obviously was the title of a movie called Beyond the Sea, produced and starred Kevin Spacey, who is I'm taking it, a huge Bobby Darin fan as I am, and man, that must have been so great for him to be able to play his hero and actually sing the songs himself, and did a great job. Better job than I'm doing here today, and he remembered all the words. So let's go on with Beyond the Sea. Somewhere beyond the sea, she's there waiting for me. My lover stands on golden sands and watches the ships that go sailing. Somewhere beyond the sea, she's there watching for me. If I could fly like birds on high and straight to her arms I'd go sailing. It's far beyond the star, it's near beyond the moon. I know beyond a doubt my heart will lead me there soon. We'll meet beyond the shore, we'll kiss just as before. Happy we'll be beyond the sea, and never again I go sailing. Let the band take it for a while. I know beyond a doubt my heart will lead me there. Soon we'll meet, I know we'll meet beyond the shore. We're gonna kiss just as before. Happy we'll be beyond the sea, and never again I'll go sailing. No more sailing. So long sailing. Bye-bye sailing. Move over, Captain. Shove over, ensign. No more sailing. I love those low notes, as I heard Bobby once say in a live performance. The late 50s, actually, the success continued, including Darin setting the all-time attendance record at the Copacabana nightclub in Manhattan, and that was a huge nightclub back then, and also headlining at major casinos in Las Vegas. Sorry. I got a little frog in my throat. Ribbit. In the 1960s, Darin owned and operated with Terry Melcher, who was actually Doris Day's son, a music publishing and production company called TM Music. And he signed Wayne Newton and gave him the song Dankeschön that became Wayne Newton's breakout hit. So that's impressive. And Wayne Newton obviously went on to become one of the princes of Vegas, where Bobby also did quite well. In 1962, Darin began to write and sing country music with hit songs like Things, You're the Reason I'm Living, and 18 Yellow Roses. The latter two were recorded for Capitol Records, which he joined in 1962 before returning to Atlantic Records 4 years later. In 1966, he had a hit with the song, it was written by Tim Hardin, and the name of the song was If I Were a Carpenter, and that song peaked at number 8 in the United States. So at that point, I'm going to sing another song. And this one always kind of cracked me up because it's such an upbeat and happy sounding song. But if you listen to the lyrics, it's actually about a little girl who is orphaned, has to work at child labor for a few pennies a day, and eventually freezes to death in a tenement. Well, it doesn't sound too happy, but the music sure sounded happy. The name of the song is Artificial Flowers. Alone in the world was poor little Anne, as sweet a young child as you'd find. Her parents had gone to their final reward, leaving their baby behind. Did you hear this sweet little girl was only 9 years of age when mother and dad went away. Still she bravely worked at the one thing she knew to earn her few pennies a day. She made artificial flowers, flowers for ladies of fashion to wear. She made artificial flowers, fashioned from Annie's despair, with paper and shears and some wire and wax. She made up each tulip and mum, and as snowflakes drifted into her tenement room, her baby little fingers grew numb from making artificial flowers. Artificial flowers. Flowers for ladies of high fashion to wear. She made artificial flowers. Artificial flowers made from Annie's despair. They found little Annie all covered with ice, still clutching her poor frozen shears. Amidst all the blossoms she had fashioned by hand and watered with all her young tears. There must be a heaven where little Annie can play in heavenly gardens and bowers. And instead of a halo, she'll wear around her head a garland of genuine flowers. No more artificial flowers. Throw away those artificial flowers. Flowers for ladies of society to wear. Throw away their artificial flowers. Those dum-dum flowers fashioned from Annie's. Fashioned from Annie's despair. Give it a real thing, as Bobby said at the end of that song. Hang in there with me, folks. This is only the second episode of the show, and we got a couple little boo-boos here and there, but we're gonna soldier on. I'm gonna want to touch on Bobby's acting career. In the fall of 1959, Darin played in an early episode of Jackie Cooper's CBS military sitcom drama Hennessy. In 1960, he appeared twice as himself in an NBC's short-lived crime drama Dan Raven. In the same year, he was the only actor to have ever been signed to 5 major Hollywood film studios. He wrote music for several films in which he appeared. His first major film, Come September, was a teenage-oriented romantic comedy with an 18-year-old actress named Sandra Dee. They first met during the production of the film, fell in love, and got married soon afterward. Dee gave birth to a son, Dodd Mitchell Darin, also known as Morgan Mitchell, on December 16th of 1961. And Dee and Darin made a few other films together with moderate success. In 1962, Darin won the Golden Globe Award for New Star of the Year as an actor for the role he played in Come September. The following year, he was nominated for a Golden Globe Award for Best Performance by an Actor in a Motion Picture Drama in a movie called Pressure Point, which I've never seen. I've been trying to get, and I can't seem to find it anywhere. I'm probably going to have to buy it because I can't get it from Netflix or anywhere else. In 1963, he was nominated for an Academy Award. This movie I did see. Best Supporting Actor for his role as a shell-shocked soldier in the movie Captain Newman, M.D., co-starring with... oh my God, I forgot his name. That guy that talks like this. He's got a great voice, and he says, hey, whatever. It's not Cary Grant. Gregory Peck. How can I forget Gregory Peck? Oh, here comes Gregory. He co-starred with Gregory Peck in Captain Newman, M.D., and at the Cannes Film Festival, he won the French Film Critics Award for Best Actor, so he actually did win an award for acting. All right, we're going to sing another song now, and this song basically was not really a big hit. I just liked the song. I just liked like As Long As I'm Singing, the song I started with. I just find it says something to me about Bobby and the feeling of urgency that he had because of his health issues, I believe, that drove him in his career. So this song is called For Once in a Lifetime. Once in a lifetime, a man knows a moment, one wonderful moment, when fate takes his hand, and this is my moment, my once in a lifetime, when I can explore a new and exciting land. Yeah, once in my lifetime, you know I feel like a giant, I soar like an eagle, as though I had wings, for this is my moment, my destiny called me, And though it may be just once in my lifetime, I'm gonna do great things. Hup. Hup. Once in a lifetime, a man knows a moment. One wonderful moment when fate grabs his hand. And this is my moment, my once in a lifetime, when I can explore a new and exciting land. Yes, for once in my lifetime, you know I feel like a giant. I soar like an eagle, as though I had wings. For this is my moment, my destiny calls me. And though it may be just once in my lifetime, I'm gonna do great things. That is a great freaking song. To hear it done justice, you got to look it up on YouTube. Bobby actually performing it, because wow. We're going to go into the later years now. We're wrapping the show up as I did in my first couple episodes. I'm still getting the hang of it. My program director, Lois, I'm sorry, I'm working on it. I'm trying to keep it under a half an hour, but I get so excited. I just start blathering like I just did. Later years, Darin's musical output became more folksy as the 1960s progressed. Darin also traveled with Bobby Kennedy and worked on the politician's 1968 presidential campaign. Unfortunately, he was at the Ambassador Hotel on the night that Kennedy was assassinated. He wasn't actually in the room, but he was in the hotel and was a part of that campaign that he was touring with Bobby Kennedy. This, along with his divorce to Sandra Dee, had a deep effect on Darin, and he actually went into seclusion for a while. He spent nearly a year living in a trailer up near Big Sur in California. When Darin finally returned to Los Angeles in 1969, he started Direction Records, putting out folk and protest music. Of his first Direction album, Darin said, "The purpose of Direction Records is to seek out statement makers. The album is solely composed of compositions designed to reflect my thoughts on the turbulent aspects of a modern society." He later signed with Motown. In 1972, he starred in his own television variety show on NBC called The Bobby Darin Amusement Company, which ran until his death in 1973. In June of 1973, he made a television appearance, some more television appearances, and he also remained a top draw in Las Vegas. Now I got to turn the page. I got to wet my finger. Hold on. All right. As we had touched on in the beginning of the show, this is kind of an important aspect. I have to go back to, we mentioned that Darin suffered from poor health his entire life due to recurring bouts of rheumatic fever as a child that left him with a severely weakened heart. In January of 1970, when he underwent his first open heart surgery in an attempt to correct some of the heart damage he had lived with since childhood, which they actually did this by implanting two artificial heart valves into his heart. He spent most of that year recovering from the surgery. During the last few years of his life, towards the end of his career, unfortunately, he was often administered oxygen after his performances on stage and screen due to, to the strain that this put on his heart. In 1973, after failing to take antibiotics to protect his heart before a dental visit, Darin developed an overwhelming systemic infection, which is called sepsis. This further weakened his body and affected one of his heart valves. On December 11th, he checked himself into Cedars-Sinai Hospital in Los Angeles for another round of open heart surgery to repair the two artificial heart valves he had received in January of 71. I'm sorry, I choke up a little bit. On the evening of December 19th, a five-man surgical team worked for over 6 hours to repair his damaged heart. Shortly after the surgery ended in the early morning hours of December 20th, 1973, Bobby Darin died in the recovery room without ever regaining consciousness. He was 37 years old, and I'm sorry if I choke up a little bit. He just meant so much to me as a young boy growing up, and was such a big influence on my singing. And like I said, me singing these songs, I can't even come close to Bobby's renditions of these songs. He was just he was a genius, one of the most versatile entertainers. I don't think there's hardly anybody of his contemporaries that could even come close to his versatility. I always say, maybe Sammy Davis, and Sammy Davis was incredibly versatile, and he'll be featured in a later show. I'm also going to take a slight departure from the format of the show. Again, we're going to end the show with a song that Bobby used to end his live Vegas act with. And I hope I could do it justice. It's a difficult song to sing, and it's just every time I hear it, I fight back the tears, thinking that this was possibly one of the last songs he may have ever performed in front of an audience. So I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'm going to end the show now with this wonderful song. It's called "The Curtain Falls." Off comes the makeup. Off comes the clown's disguise. The curtains falling, the music softly dies. Still I hope you're smiling as you're filing out the door. 'Cause as they say in this business, that's all there is. There isn't any more. We've shared a moment, and as that moment ends, I've got a funny feeling we're parting out as friends. Your cheers and laughter will linger after they have torn down these dusty walls. If I had this to do again, and the evening were new again, I would spend it with you again. But now the curtain falls. Your cheers and laughter will linger after they've torn down these dusty walls. People say I was made for this. Nothing else would I trade for this. And just think, I get paid for this. Thank you, Bobby, and thank you for watching. Good night.